Greetings, travelers, and welcome back to the next step in the tutorial series for better questing. So in this episode, we're going to cover a lot of the basics. Getting our first quest started, showing you how the file structure works, and get you through getting started, basically. Later episodes, we'll get into some more of the advanced options and what you can do, but we're really just going to cover the basics this time to get you going, to understand how to get started, because that can be one of the more confusing things. So first thing, let me show you the file structure on Better Questing. So when I refer to the default quests as well as the quests for the world, you'll understand. So here you've got the general file structure. Now if you're using the Curse client, your general path is going to be wherever the Curse client you have installed. In my case, I have it to the folder Curse client. Minecraft instances the name of the instance. If this is your pack, probably the name of the pack. Config folders, and then in the Better Questing. This is where you're going to see your default. It should say default quests, and this is a JSON file. So this is where it stores all the stuff you do when you hit BQ_admin default save. This is so that any world that is loaded with Better Questing can use the quest book. So this way, if you don't have a pre-generated or pre-created world, you just have, maybe you're going to have it set to where they use a specific biome type, or whatever you plan on doing, giving it as a tutorial for a specific set of mods. This is how you would be able to make it so they could use it in any world they create. Now if you go back to the root under saves, you'll see another folder for Better Questing. This is where the active questing goes. This is where it tracks all the information, number of lives, the name cache, all that stuff. Anytime you hit BQ admin default load, this is what gets replaced. So that way the worlds can always go with whatever update you present. Alright, so let's get back to the world and we will go from here. Alright, so here we are back in the world. So again, to remember, there is no actual item or book. The default, you're going to want to remap the default key. Again, I mapped it to O. So to get started, this is your line. Now you're wondering, how do I create a quest? Well, you're going to start with edit. Now this place here, it says edit quest lines. It's a little misleading because you're not actually doing the quests themselves here. These are going to be the categories. So to get started, we're going to want to add a new quest line. Now what you do here is you click it. So now it's dark. You'll have your name, so you can do the basics here. And we're going to call this tutorial quests. I can see my keyboard. And we'll give it a basic description. And learn how to type. Alright, now we're going to do, you have a couple of ways. You can add or remove quests. If you do add or remove quests, this is going to show any existing quests that you've created, and you can create them all here if you wanted. And it would just be a long list of quests. I find it is easier to use Designer. This is kind of familiar if you're HQM. This is your blank canvas, and here's all your buttons for creating quests. So to start a new quest, just click the icon that says New Quest. And you get a grid, and you can let it snap to grid. It's an option you could turn off. I always leave it on because it makes it easier. Now keep in mind, you could go anywhere in here if you wanted. And remember, and we'll just create that quest here, you can move these things around. The screen literally scrolls a lot. Okay. Now with the arrow key again, if you add a bunch of quests, and we'll just do that real quick. Maybe you decide, oh, I want to rearrange them. So that's what this is for. And you can move them around, do what you want, make a fancy screen, do it, however you want to do it. Keep in mind these are even number. Why he made it an even number, Minecraft in even numbers. So I usually tend to go with the 2 blocks just so that it's easier to make it space and it just looks more symmetrical. This is so you can link, which we'll get into linking a little bit more in detail in a later episode, but think of this as the dependency. If you want a quest to be dependent on, like this quest dependent on this, then you click on this and you select that. Now this one is dependent on this quest. If you go back, you can even go the same direction. So if we go here and here, it is still disconnected. But if you want this one to be connected, you get what I'm saying. So you whichever one you want to be the main quest, you click first and then click on the ones that you want dependent on it. Copy. Let's say you have some quests that you want to have that are pretty much equal. You can use the copy function to just replicate, and it'll just keep copying every setting you have. So let's say you have a quest that you have everything is the same except for maybe one bit of NVT or the item or something like that. Obviously copy it. That way instead of having to retype and reset up everything, you just switch out that one item or retype the one thing. Remove quest, it removes the quest from this line. It doesn't remove it from the database. This one deletes it completely. Manual complete. So if you're testing and you want to make sure that certain quests are working, the links primarily, you'll use this to force complete each quest to show it done. This one will reset it. So another way that this comes in handy is, let's say that you are trying to test this for that it works. So you've taken it out of edit mode and you want to go through the quests real quick to see if they work properly. After you go back into edit mode, they're going to still show completed, so you can use this to reset everything. This is just what you're familiar with. It does what it says. Select the icon. So you click this, and then you can check this, and you can search all the items that are in your pack and change what the item is for the icon. Scale. So you can actually make these bigger. And you see how you can go the icons like this all the way down to the little one. One good use of this is if you make them really tiny, it makes it really hard to see. Yes, you can hide these and make these invisible, but make it really tiny too if you wanted. So we're just gonna go ahead and do that. And then edit raw. This edits the actual quest, the quest line. So you can actually, and we'll get into some of the more advanced stuff like what these are. But this is so you can edit individual parts of the quest line. Alright, so the next step would be open. We're going to go ahead and just take a look at the new quest. So, detect submit, that way you can force, if you have whatever, if you've met the requirements, you can have it detect automatically without doing it without doing it automatic. But if you want to edit this new quest, just hit edit. Now your basic screen is you're going to give it a name and description like you do the quest line, and a basic description. Alright, now you can task, rewards, requirements, logic, normal, for showing, advanced. So we're not going to do advanced at all today, and logic, that goes into more advanced, or the more advanced stuff. Requirements, basically, here's your database. These are all the new quests that have been created, because of course you saw me click a bunch. This is, oh, and I gotta change that, I spelled that wrong. Anyway, so this is so you could move, these quests are required to make this quest finish. Obviously you can't do this one, this is the one we're working on. But let's say you had all these other quests, this is another way to link them to make them require each other, or add a new one if you wanted. I'm going to fix this real quick. Not turt. or just type tutorial. There we go. Tasks. Now this is the things you want to do, or want the player to do. You have XP, so how many levels do they have to be before this quest is completed. Checkbox, it's literally just that. You put the task that you want. We'll do this. So do this, and there we go. So now what it looks like is literally this. To complete the quest, you click the box, bam, it's done. It's literally that simple. So a couple examples I've seen this done is just to make sure players understand. You know, like this is going to be a tutorial style pack. You have some basic instructions on how things go. This way, you know, ideally they read it, they check the box. That means that they've read it and they get whatever prize or not. Alright, so some of the other tasks that you can do, fluid, just, you know, submit a fluid, whatever's in the pack, water, lava, if you got some mods, whatever the mod fluids are. Location, just coordinates. You want them to go to a certain point in a map, whether it's pre-built or otherwise. You want them to walk 1,000 blocks from spawn. You know, you've got some regular coordinates, right there's your location. Crafting, standard crafting task. You want them to make a crafting table, you want them to make a chest, you want them to whatever. Block break, this detects what block, in this case my Minecraft log is the default, but you can change it to whatever you want. Alright, retrieval, this is the, I want you to get me an item. Whatever the item, you want to get an object, list, fluid, you want me to get a, go get, you know, kill or get an entity. That's what those are for. Meeting, you got to select the type of mob, and when you find them, that's considered a meeting task. You right click on it. Scoreboard, with the newer versions, so keep in mind this is 1.10.2, but I believe this has been a feature pretty much for all versions, recent versions. You set up scoreboards. You can actually have this complete a quest based on the score on the scoreboard, which that gets in a little more complicated kind of stuff, but we will definitely take care of covering those. So that would be your, you know, so right there you got your score equals. So you would have to give it the scoreboard. So if you edit, I'll show you real quick. You tell it which scoreboard it is, so the exact name that you've given it and what the score has to be. There's some advanced stuff, and we'll get into that again in a future episode. Rewards, you have most of your basics. XP, give them some experience, give them items, give them, you know, make another scoreboard score a set amount or give them an amount. Choice, so if you want to give them an option on an item, give them a list of, like, you know, 4, 5, 10, 15, who knows how many items. Choose from one of these as your reward. Command block, this one can be pretty useful depending on how you use it, but literally when they get that reward, it runs a command, like a command block. So, you know, maybe you want the player to get you know, if you got a pre-built map and they complete a quest, you want them to get teleported to a specific area, maybe a reward room or a next step in the world. You could use this for that. So, you know, there you go. See, that one's just one level. So that gets you the basics on that, and you know, we're going to go ahead and delete all these others because we just need the one right now. But after you hit done, where did it go? Oh, there we go. I keep forgetting. You always got to click on that to show. So there's our quest, and you can see you can kind of scroll all over the place with it. You can scroll out, zoom in. That way you can see more or less whatever you want to do. And then after you exit, always get in the habit. BQ, admin, default and save. If you do not do this, you will lose progress. I can't stress that enough. It's even happened to me. I created a mod pack, got everything done, uploaded the patch for an update, and found out that the entire quest I did not save them, and by the time I went back, the server had restarted at least once, if not more, and the entire progress was done, and it had to be rebuilt from scratch, and it was several hours worth of work. So always remember to save. Always. I can't stress enough. Always save. I mean, that's, use the rules of RPG. Save often and often. Very often. So that's going to be it for this episode. That gets you into the basics. The next episode we will talk about some of the more advanced stuff. We'll get into some of the advanced settings, what the actions are, where you saw and we'll get into some of that. But thank you guys for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial so far. But you guys, have a great day.